This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
In 1856, 19-year-old Olive Oatman walked through the gates of Fort Yuma, and amidst a cheering crowd, made her improbable return to American society. For 5 years, Olive Oatman had been living in captivity with the Native Americans. She was spared from the murder that had befallen her parents and 4 of her siblings, and had somehow endured. A year later, Olive Oatman was a national celebrity. Her story was featured in a best-selling novel, and she traveled around the country giving speeches and lectures about her experience. Americans were scintillated by her story, and by what had become her most recognizable feature, the blue Mojave tattoo seared into her face. Her life among the Indians had become the object of immense curiosity for Americans. But despite the books, speeches, and vast attention she received, Olive Oatman and her story still remain a fascinating mystery. The story of Olive Oatman is problematic because there is a large distinction between the story and the facts. In 1857, a minister named Royal B. Stratton published his widely popular novel, The Captivity of the Oatman Girls, which was heavily biased with Stratton's own anti-Indian prejudice. This book was so popular that for years it shaped the narrative about Olive Oatman, and has ever since clouded the actual truth of the story. Stratton paints the Mojave, who Oatman lived with for 5 years, as being savage heathens, and Oatman their slave. This key assertion was repeated by Oatman later in her life, and is the basis of her heroic tale of survival. However, there is much evidence to suggest that Oatman lived harmoniously, equally, and lovingly with the Mojave during her years in captivity. This has called into question the validity of Stratton's story. What actually happened to Olive Oatman? And what parts of her story were crafted by Stratton to sell the most books? In recent years, historians have tried to answer that question and piece together the true story of Olive Oatman. While more accurate accounts of her story exist now, the completely true story will never be known. There are many important questions left unanswered, which only makes Olive Oatman an even more mysterious woman. Did Olive tell the truth of her experiences? If she did lie, what could her reason be? What is the real truth behind those piercing eyes and blue tattoo? The story of Olive Oatman is far more than a kidnapping and survival story. It is a story of media, memory, and narratives that stray from fact and truth. It is a story of different cultures and one's place and duty therein. It is a story of love, will, and the adaptability of the human spirit. It is a story that will forever be tantalizingly incomplete. It is the story of a unique American woman with a shocking, beautiful, tragic, and mysterious blue tattoo. Is Olive's unmistakable tattoo a haunting marker of her tragic past in captivity, or a haunting reminder of her repatriation to the culture she had left behind?